WRGB Schenectady.
It's overcast, temperature in the mid-60s, but it should be a good day for the opener of the World Series. Welcome to Game 1 of the 1972 World Series. The American League champs, the Oakland A's, versus the National League champs, the Cincinnati Reds. Today's game is brought to you by your Dodge dealer, who has the big Dodge on display now, and by Gillette, makers of the dry look. The wet head is dead. Long live the dry look. Hi, everybody. Curt Gowdy of NBC Sports. Welcome to the 1972 World Series. So many fans have said the playoffs were so tense, so thrilling. Will the World Series be an anticlimax? If you were here the last 2 days, talked to both teams, felt the mood of the city, you would know the World Series can never be an anticlimax. We're going to have an interesting World Series. The only thing I can see in common between Oakland and Cincinnati is they each have enough talented players to win their league championship. Otherwise, they have contrasting styles. The A's look different. They have colorful uniforms, white shoes, shaggy hair, flowing mustaches, beards. They're the Mod Gang. Cincinnati demands its players clean-shaven, short hair, the businesslike approach and look on the field. The way the clubs are run are different. The Oakland A's have a maverick owner in Charlie Finley, a self-made man who's won an American League championship. As he says, he is his own front office, and he's his own general manager. While Cincinnati has astute Bob Howsam as their general manager, a large front office staff. We have 35 players in this World Series game playing their first series. It's always a dream, of course, for a ball player. Cincinnati is favored, but the A's have a very strong pitching staff, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Speaking of that first World Series, working with me here is the voice of the Cincinnati Reds, Al Michaels, who in just 2 years has captured an intense, loyal following with his brilliant work broadcasting a Cincinnati game. And Al Michaels, welcome to his first World Series. A real pleasure to be working with you, Al.
Thank you, Curt. A great thrill to be working with you here today. And right now, let's take a look at the home of the Cincinnati Reds, Riverfront Stadium, a park which opened June 30th, 1970. The Reds against the Atlanta Braves. It's the second time the World Series has been held here. The dimensions down the line, standard as far as the new parks go, it's 330 down the left field line. The yellow stripe runs across the top of the wall all the way around, and there's no difficulty telling when a home run is hit because there's some room between the wall and where the stands start. Out in the left center field alley, it's 375, 400 is straightaway center here in Cincinnati. And then there's one spot out in right center. This is a circular park, fully enclosed, so the wind is not that much of a factor, but out here in right center, the balls seem to travel more than they do at any other point in this park. This is where Bench hit his playoff home run. It's where Tony Perez hits a lot of his home runs. Down the right field line, same dimension as to left, 330 feet. This is an all-artificial turf surface. It's the first of its kind in the majors. Philadelphia and San Francisco have since copied it. You won't see any bad bounces on the AstroTurf here. The only bad bounces on balls perhaps hit through the sliding boxes at first, second, and third. Seating capacity, 51,000. Standing room only today. We should see about 54,000, probably the largest crowd in Cincinnati baseball history.
All right, Al, and the third member of our team, a regular on our Game of the Week telecast on Saturdays and Monday night. He'll be here roving and also helping us to analyze the World Series, Mr. Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Curt. With me down in the field, a man who is not going to play in this World Series for Oakland, Reggie Jackson. Reggie, you scored a big run, an important run in that playoff series with Detroit, but you paid a big price. How do you feel about missing this series?
Well, it's a tough thing, Tony. As you know, you've been in a World Series before. It's a situation for me where something you look forward to a lifetime as a child. And you get a chance to be in it as a grown man, but the thing that I can look back on and say that I paid a price and gave up a leg maybe and for a couple of weeks and can't play in a World Series, but we are here, and I can always say that, well, if I didn't score the run, we wouldn't be here. So we are here, and that's what does count, and we do have a chance to win it.
Reggie, because of you partly, but I think even with you, your team was going to be rated an underdog. How do you feel about that?
Well, you're right, Tony. With me in the lineup even, we were an underdog. Without myself, I guess it doesn't help at all. But we've got great pitching and we've got great defense, and we do have a great offense, and we can get a good series from Rudy Epstein, Bando, and Campaneris, and anything can happen, Tony. And we have everything to gain because we are the underdog, and well, Jackson's not playing, and this happened and that happened. But the Reds don't have near the pitching we do, and they say great pitching will stop great hitting anytime. So we're going to see what happens, and believe me, I don't look for a slaughter. I look for us to be very much in it and maybe even win it.
Reggie Jackson, sorry you're going to miss this series, and I know you're going to serve to inspire your team right in that dugout. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Tony. And now we're ready to meet not only the starting lineup for today's game, but the entire squad from each team, and also we'll have the colorful opening ceremony.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Riverfront Stadium for the first game of the 1972 World Series. Here are the official lineups. First, the Oakland Athletics. Here is the manager of the Athletics, number 23, Dick Williams.
You just seen the introduction. Reggie Jackson, Bert Campaneris. Batting second for Oakland, playing left field will be Joe Rudy. Batting third and playing right field will be Matty Alou. This is the Oakland batting order. Batting fourth, playing first base, the cleanup man will be Mike Epstein. Epstein at first base. The captain of the Oakland A's, their third baseman, and batting fifth, Sal Bando. Batting sixth, playing center field, a replacement for Reggie Jackson, George Hendrick. Batting seventh and catching, Gene Tennis. Batting eighth, starting at second base, will be Dick Green for the Oakland A's. And batting ninth, the starting pitcher for this series for the Oakland A's is their left-hander, Ken Holtzman. Now here are the remaining players for Oakland: Angel Manguel, Don Mincher, Dave Duncan, Ted Kubiak, Gonzalo Marquez, John Odom, Tim Cullen, Mike Keegan, Dal Maxville, Joe Horland, Alan Lewis, just been activated today, Jim Hunter, that's Mincher down the line, Duncan, that's Gonzalez, Marquez, there's Kubiak.
Number 13.
Here's John Odom, Tim Cullen, Mike Keegan, you might see him at first base in the late innings, shortstop Dal Maxville, Joe Horland, the new player, Alan Lewis, up from Iowa, the minor leagues. Jim Hunter, he'll be pitching tomorrow. Dave Hamilton, Raleigh Fingers. Vida Blue, Bob Locker, and the coaches. Gary Adair. That's Irv Norn.
Now for the Cincinnati Reds. Here is the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, number 10, Sparky Anderson. Batting first and playing left field, number 14, Pete Rose. Batting second and playing second base, number 8, Joe Morgan. Batting third and playing center field, number 28, Bobby Poland. Batting fourth and catching, number 5, Johnny Bench. Batting fifth and playing first base, number 24, Tony Perez. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 16, Dennis Menke. Batting seventh and playing right field, number 20, Cesar Geronimo. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 13, Dave Concepcion. Batting ninth and pitching, number 38, Gary Nolan, who is warming up in the bullpen. Now here are the remaining players and coaches of the Cincinnati Reds. Number 9, Bill Plummer. Number 11, Hal McRae. Number 12, Darrell Cheney. Number 15, George Foster. Number 17, Julian Javier. Number 21, Tom Hall. Number 22, Ted Eulander. Number 25, Joe Haig. Number 31, Jim McLaughlin. Number 34, Pedro Barbon. Number 35, Don Gullett. Number 36, Clay Carroll. Number 43, Jack Billingham. Number 44, Ed Sprague. Number 45, Wayne Simpson. Number 48, Ross Grimsley. And the coaches of the Cincinnati Reds. Number 2, Alex Grammas. Number 3, George Sugar. Number 4, Larry Shepard. Number 18, Ted Kloszewski. Baseball has just completed 2 great championship series, and we are here today to see the winners of these series. And at this time, we think it most appropriate to introduce to you the managers of 2 superb baseball teams. Entering from the Reds dugout on the first base line, Bill Burton. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, which will be played by the Roger Bacon High School Marching Band and sung by Terry Ann Busen, Miss America 1973.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the were so gallantly streaming, and the rocky prairie, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The first game of the 1972 World Series is about to get underway. We'll return in a moment.
Okay, I don't hold 'em for tonight. Let's go get us a beer.
When it's Miller time at the old home place, all the hands come riding in. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. If you've got the time, Miller beer. We've got the beer. Miller beer. If you've got the time.
5 cars, 5 dead batteries. But we're going to start all 5, all at once, with one battery. A 2-year-old Sears Die-Hard battery. The Die-Hard, with extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. It lives up to its name. Sold only at Sears.
To the Equitable agent, no two people are alike.
Is there anyone else in the whole human race with your kind of style and your kind of grace?
No two people are alike. That's why your Equitable agent thinks of you as an individual. His training and thinking are shaped around you and your life insurance needs. To the Equitable agent,
there's nobody else exactly like you. Nobody else like you.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB Channel 6.
Your attention, please. We direct your attention to the commissioner's box, where the commissioner of
The honor of throwing out the first pitch to open the World Series, the commissioner of baseball, Mr. Bowie Kuhn. And his toss is going to Johnny Bench. That's Mrs. Kuhn on the commissioner's right. Now they'll repeat again. And so the ceremonial first pitch is over. The Reds players are going to be introduced, as is the regular season custom, as one by one they come out and take their position, led by the catcher Bench. Quickly at first baseman Perez, Morgan going to second, Concepcion to short, Menke to third, out to left field goes Pete Rose, Bobby Tolan to center field, Cesar Geronimo to right field. And here's the starting pitcher, Gary Nolan, for Cincinnati. We have 6 umpires assigned to today's game. And there they are, Chris Pelakoutis of the National League behind the plate. Jim Honeychick of the American League at first. Mel Steiner of the National League at second. Frank Umont of the American League at third. Umpiring the left field line, Bob Engel of the National League, and Bill Heller of the American League, the right field line. Gary Nolan, a young veteran, the 19-year-old rookie in 1967. He was one of the outstanding pitchers in baseball. He had a sore arm in 68-69. He's changed his style somewhat now. Instead of going with all hard stuff, he now has developed an outstanding slow curve, a changeup, fastball. He won 15 games this year, lost 5. He was the first 10-game winner this year in the National League, the first 11-game winner, and the first 12-game winner. He had more troubles in the second half of the season than he did in the first. Tony, how about analyzing Mr. Nolan here for us?
You said it a moment ago, Curt. He has now become a finished pitcher. At one time, he was pretty much of a hard thrower. Now he has gotten exceptional control of his breaking pitches, and he changes speeds on them very well.
Nolan started the 3rd game of the playoffs here on Monday against the Pirates, pitching 6 innings, allowing 1 run, 4 hits. He complained of a sore arm at the end of the season. He had an abscessed wisdom tooth that was removed, and they think that some of that poison got out of his system, and his arm's feeling much better. But he is still doubtful. Still could be a question mark in his manager's mind, Sparky Anderson. Bert Campaneris has been allowed to play in the World Series after his bat throwing incident in Oakland, but he has been suspended the first week of the next baseball season, the 73 season, without pay, which means he'll lose around $3,000. Campaneris hit .240 for the year. 3 hits and 7 in the playoffs until he was suspended, and the first pitch of the series is a strike. National League fans know if you beat the Cardinals, keep Lou Brock off the bases. The same here with this club. And he hits a foul ball, strike 2. 0-2 to Campaneris. He stole 52 bases. Most clubs throw strikes to him. They don't want to walk him. When he leads off, gets on in an inning, he can really start things moving for the A's. They play him straight away. The infield in a step or 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Bert Campaneris. A ball, 1-2. There's the defensive setup. It's dark here now. The lights are on. The weatherman said we would not have rain today. There's a drive in the left field, and there goes your no-hitter in the first inning of the first World Series game. Campaneris steals. Now, we'll have a confrontation between the top base stealer in the American League and the man that most considered the best throwing arm in baseball behind the plate, Johnny Bench. Joe Rudy, the most solid hitter in this A's team. He splatters the ball to all fields with power. He can hit behind the runner, get him over to third. He hit .305 for the regular year, 19 homers, 75 runs batted in. He hit .250 in the playoffs in the 5 games against the Tigers. Go to first to keep him close. They play Rudy 2 or 3 steps to right, and he hits a fly ball into center field. Tolan drifting back for it. Has the grab. Campaneris almost to second base, scoots back to first. 1 down. Matty Alou, a valuable pickup by the A's. They obtained him from the Cardinals on August 27th, which made him eligible for the playoffs in the World Series. You have to join the club before September 1st. And he had some real game-winning hits that last month of the season. And Alou hit safely every game in the 5-game playoffs with the Tigers. Runner on first, Campaneris, 1 out. And the first pitch is ball 1.
Curt, Alou's back on the kind of field he likes to play on, the artificial surface. He has that chop and run style of hitting and tries to play the third baseman, gets him in, then tries to lash it by him.
Foul away, a ball and a strike. So far, Campaneris has shown no signs of going. But he has a batter up there that can protect him. Alou is one of the hardest batters in baseball to strike out. As the ball players say, he gets a piece of the ball. He'll hit it somewhere. 1 ball, 1 strike. Campaneris at first, 1 down. Here he goes. There's a fly ball out into short right. Backing up is Morgan. They have a double play. They do, a double play. Campaneris is doubled up. No runs, 1 hit. Nobody left. And we're coming up now for the last of the first inning.
Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference in Chrysler Corporation cars. What began in outer space is now right down to earth. Chrysler Corporation, the automotive company that helped put the first American in space, now puts some of the things it learned into its cars. Step into the start of the new age of automotive electronics. Electronic ignition, for up to 35% more starting voltage than conventional systems. Now standard on all Chrysler Corporation cars built in this country. Electronic voltage regulator to help increase battery life. Electronic digital clock available on some models. So accurate you can set your watch by it. Electronics.
Extra
care in engineering.
It makes a difference in Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth. Discover the difference. Drive one.
Of course you get one button color on Sears 19-inch color TV. But you also get something a lot more important. Come, I'll show you. You get Sears testing for quality. Sears service available nationwide. And most important,
We'll take care of it.
Sears' reputation for dependability. With Sears 19-inch color TV, you get a lot more than one button color.
Take a look at that last inning double play. Watch that Campaneris cannot find the ball. He completely lost it. I think he may have been given a decoy, Curt, by Concepcion, the shortstop, leading him to believe the ball was hit on the ground.
All right, and here we go now in the last of the first inning. Pete Rose leading off. And the first pitch by Ken Holtzman is a ball. Here's another angle on it. See if we can find someone in the infield who might have decoyed him. Doesn't show. He's lost the ball and can't get back to first as Morgan doubled him up. Rose goes around in the fastball, 1-1. Ken Holtzman, 26 years old. The last time he pitched in this ballpark was on June 3rd last season. All he did was fire a no-hitter at the Reds. He has an excellent lifetime record against Cincinnati when he was in the National League. Bounding ball to third baseman Bando. Good, steady, strong arm. Throws him out, and there's one down. So Rose is gone. Pete had hit .307 for the year and had a sensational playoff. Joe Morgan has become a popular favorite in this town. He had some season, didn't he, Al?
An unbelievable year. He made a tremendous difference in this club. Key man in the trade with Houston. Sparky Anderson has said if he finishes any lower than third in the MVP balloting, he'll be very disappointed.
All right, one down. There's no score last of the first inning. Joe Morgan, the batter. Holtzman's pitch to him is fouled out of play. Joe Morgan hit .292 during the season, swiped 58 bases, and smacked 16 homers. Breaking pitch is inside, a ball and a strike. He has a nervous habit of flapping that elbow just before the pitch comes on the way. It looks like a chicken wing when he gets going with it. There he goes. Strike two on a curve, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Holtzman won 19 games this year for Oakland, lost 11. He'd won 12 games before Vida Blue won his first one, to show you what a big pickup he was in the trade that sent Rick Mundy to the Cubs. A 1-2 pitch. That's foul down the right field line. And Vida Blue was a holdout. Without Holtzman, the A's would have been hard up for a left-handed starting pitcher, and Holtzman really filled the void early in the year. So each of these teams made big off-season trades that helped them win a pennant. Grounded to first baseman Epstein. There are 2 down. The A's have only 8 pitchers on their squad, 17 non-pitchers. But 7 of those 8 pitchers on the A's have finished the season with earned run average under 3. Very strong pitching on this Oakland ball club. And they're without Darrell Knowles, their best left-handed relief pitcher, who has a broken thumb, and with Reggie Jackson. They're not in as good physical trim as the Reds are, but the Reds in 1970 against the Orioles had their physical problems, especially on their pitching staff. Bobby Tolan, the comeback kid this year in the National League, fouls it back for a strike. Tolan wound up the year hitting .283, 8 homers, but he knocked in 82 runs. In the playoffs, he had 5 hits and 21 times up. You notice his unique way of holding the bat very high. Tries to bunt, fouls it back, strike 2.
Curt, it's very important for Kenny Holtzman early in the ball game to get his curveball over. He did it with Rose, of course, and Morgan, then came in with the fastballs. If he does that, it will make his fastball more effective the rest of the ball game.
The real test of Tolan's comeback, speed of foot. He stole 42 bases this year for the Reds after having 2 operations for a torn Achilles tendon. Took a half swing at that one and fouls it off down the first base line. And that was a good breaking pitch by Ken Holtzman. No balls, 2 strikes. 8 wins, 3 losses. His lifetime record against the Cincinnati Reds. The 2-strike pitch, foul into the seats.
He's quick today. Got a good fastball, it appears.
That's Johnny Bench. He'll be a hero in this town for a long time to come. After his 9th inning leadoff homer, tied it up for the Reds in Game 5 with Pittsburgh. The 2-strike delivery. Ground ball in the hole is short. Campaneris up. Long throw. Got him. Fine play by Campaneris. Throwing the fleet Bobby Tolan up. 3 up, 3 down for Cincinnati at the end of the first inning. In Game 1 of the World Series, there's no score.
Hello, I'm Cricket, the new disposable butane lighter by Gillette. Oh, I'm good for thousands of lights, so I last for months. Cricket by Gillette. Try me.
Hi, Hank. Shaving close for your big close-up, huh?
Yep.
Well, don't cut yourself.
Sam, I don't have to cut myself to shave close. This is the Track 2, the 2-bladed razor from Gillette. The blades are recessed, so it's safer.
Recessed? Then how come it shaves so close?
Because when the first blade shaves your whisker, it stretches it out from the skin. And before it can snap all the way back, the second blade can shave it again, closer.
What if I went back again with my 1-blade razor?
The whisker snaps back too fast.
Gee, that's a great shave.
And that's not even my good side.
The Gillette Track 2, the 2-bladed razor.
Charles O. Finley and Mrs. Finley. Charlie Finley, whose father used to work in the steel mills at Gary, Indiana. Charlie did too. A self-made millionaire in the insurance business after lying in a tuberculosis ward. Conceived the idea of medical insurance. Always wanted to own a sports team. He now has 3. Not only a Major League Baseball team, but a pro basketball team and a pro hockey team. And he had just fulfilled his lifelong dream with a pennant and his team performing in the World Series. Mike Epstein hit .270 for 26 homers, 70 RBIs. And the first pitch, a slow curve by Nolan. 0-1 to Epstein. Epstein tied for 3rd in the American League in homers this year. There's a drive hit into deep right. Backing up is Geronimo. That one is cut by Geronimo right up against the wall.
Watch Geronimo back to the warning track. Epstein hitting the ball very well, but didn't get much loft on it. Fine play by Geronimo.
So that's our first sparkler in the field of the 1972 World Series. And here's Sal Bando, who had his lowest batting average of his career during the regular season, .236. He hits a fly ball to right field. A little bit easier for Geronimo this time, and they're 2 down.
Curt, Geronimo started the season in right field. The Reds didn't expect much offensively, but defensively they knew he was a standout ball player, as he's proved all season long. He went out of the lineup, though, for a while. He wasn't hitting. Then at the end of the season, Sparky Anderson decided he was going to go with one right fielder, pick this man to go against both right-handers and left-handers. So he's been in every day for over a month.
All right, Al, 2 away, and the first pitch to George Hendrick, ball 1. Hendrick playing center field today, replacing Reggie Jackson in the batting order for the A's. It's 182. The ball, if he gets a swing, study it, because he has a snap, a wrist snap, that reminds you of Ernie Banks, the way Ernie used to hit with the Cubs. Boy, has a lot of potential, a lot of promise. That's a strike with a fastball, 2-1. He never played high school sports, and here he is in the World Series now. He had 1 hit and 7 times up in the playoffs. Nolan's delivery is strike 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down, nobody on. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Tried to tease him with a slow curve. It's 3-2 to George Hendrick. Hendrick can throw, he can run, he can hit with power, and when he catches up with big league pitching, the A's should have themselves quite a ball player. 3-2 delivery. He's on. The A's have had a base runner in each inning. Gene Tennis, who hit .225 for the season, 5 homers, 32 runs batted in. He had only 1 hit and 17 times up in the playoffs. That 1 hit won the final game for the A's against the Tigers at Tiger Stadium. No score, top of the second. Fastball away, 1-0 to Gene Tennis. Foul back. Al, Sparky Anderson, the Reds manager, tells me that Nolan is about 70% as fast as he used to be before he had the arm trouble.
And probably 70% smarter. As you mentioned before, he's a smart pitcher. He knows where to pitch. He knows how to pitch. And he and Bench work beautifully together. Gary, a very astute sort of pitcher, goes over the charts before the game, knows exactly where to spot every pitch.
Still has that baby face, too. That curve is high. Dangerous pitch. 2 balls and a strike to Gene Tennis, who lives here in Ohio, about 110 miles from the ballpark, Lucasville, Ohio. 2 down, George Hendrick at first, top of the second. There's a long blast to deep left. That one is going, and it is gone. A home run for Gene Tennis. And the A's grab the lead in the top of the second inning with a 2-out, 2-run homer by Gene Tennis, who hit only 5 homers during the year. Now Dick Green will be the batter. He's the second baseman, and he lines it to third baseman Menke to retire the side. 2 runs for the A's, 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left at the end of an inning and a half. It is Oakland 2, Cincinnati nothing.
Live it up, go bowling. Live it up, laugh it up, join the fun.
Is life passing you by? Get rolling. Go bowling. Shape up, slim down, wind up to wind down. There's room on weekends, also daytimes during the week. So live it up. Go bowling. Start this weekend.
Good shot, dear. Good shot, son. Okay, come on, okay, one more time. Your ball. Okay, my ball. Come on, get it, get it.
Allstate Life Insurance says, if you die, young man, we'll help make sure your boy still has a driveway to play in. Allstate Mortgage Insurance. $20,000 worth of 20-year decreasing term. If you're 30, for example, you pay only $7 a month. When it comes to guarding your family, young man, you're in good hands with Allstate.
There's Ken Holtzman's record this year, his lifetime record, and you note that earned run average, runs charged to the pitcher, 2.51, is the lowest of his career. And in the last of the second, he's going to face Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, and Dennis Menke. Johnny Bench, the major league leader in homers this year with 40, runs batted in with 125, a 270 average. In the playoffs, he had a 333 average and that big home run that tied it up for the Reds in the last of the 9th inning, enabled them to finally catch the Pirates and win the National League Central. Ball 1. They're playing Bench straight away. Hendrick is surprisingly straight away in center. They're all deep in the outfield. The infield shading third a bit. Ball 2 by Holtzman to Johnny Bench.
Curt, that's the first time I've seen any club play Bench this way. Every National League team has a dead pull hitter.
2 balls, no strikes. Both teams have been intensively scouted by the other. Foul ball. Wayne Simpson warming up in the Cincinnati bullpen. He's had his arm problems, too, the last couple of years. The Red pitching staff is predominantly young. 3-1 to bench. You know, Tony, when scouts look over another ball club and follow them, you could get 5 or 6 scouts watching the same club. They'd all have different ideas how to play batters and what to do with them.
I think those scouts remember the home run that Bench hit to right center field. And also Kenny Holtzman, being left-handed, ordinarily it's a little more difficult for a right-handed hitter to pull a left-handed pitcher's fastball. The ball tails away from the right-handed hitter, and you've got to go with it a little bit more.
This will be a 3-2 pitch coming up to Johnny Bench. Nobody on, nobody out. Just a piece of it. And Holtzman will serve another 3-2 pitch. Real human interest drama in that last of the 9th inning when Tony and I were here Wednesday. Johnny Bench's mother came down the aisle to the screen by the on-deck circle and yelled out, "Hit a home run for me, son." And he did.
And today's her birthday.
The birthday today. He has a base hit to left field. Up with the ball is Joe Rudy. Bench is on first. That's the first base runner for the Reds.
Watch Bench again. I think Al Michaels, broadcaster beside us, who's seen him all year, will agree. This may be the year that Johnny Bench has matured, has grown up as a man and as a player.
Bench at first, nobody out. Tony Perez hit .283 with 21 homers, 90 RBIs. In the playoffs, a .200 batter. Strike to him. Perez just quietly goes about his job. In the last 6 years, he's averaged over 100 runs batted in a season. He gets it done. Strike 2 on a curve, 0-2. Oakland ahead, 2-0. Last of the second on Gene Tennis's 2-run homer. Perez, born in Cuba, came to this country 9 years ago. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 delivery. There's a ground ball for a base hit to left. Bench is stopping at second. Perez is on first. And the Reds now are rumbling here in the last of the second.
Curt, there was some talk before the ball game as to how this artificial surface was going to affect the defensive play of Oakland. To me, it appears the ball is getting by them much more quickly than they expect.
In the American League, there's only one artificial infield. That's in Chicago at Comiskey Park. There are 6 in the National League. Playing on the natural grass and on the artificial surface is different. Dennis Menke, .235 batter for the year. 9 homers, 50 runs batted in. Had 4 hits and 16 times in the playoffs. Ball 1. Not a high average hitter, but gets important hits. Bench at second. Perez at first. Nobody out. Oakland ahead 2-0. And Holtzman now is starting to get himself in trouble. 2 balls and no strikes to Menke. Menke looks down to his third base coach, Alex Gramis. Cesar Geronimo's on deck. 3-0. Gene Tennis decides he better go out as Dick Williams roams the dugout. Williams looking at his lineup card. There's a big one pasted on the back of the dugout. Then he has his own card in his hip pocket, and we're going to have some warm-up action. Raleigh Fingers was usually the late inning man. The saver in the 8th and 9th inning starting to warm up. A strike, 3-1. Raleigh Fingers warming up for the A's. The 3-1 delivery. Ground foul, rammed hard. We have a 3-2 count. Johnny Bench at second, Tony Perez at first, nobody out. The runners are going. It's ball 4. Sparky Anderson started his runners. Here's Dick Williams now coming out of the A's dugout. Dick Williams managing in his second World Series in Boston for the Red Sox in '67. Here with Oakland, he and Sparky Anderson have had almost similar careers, both in the Dodger organization in their early years. After playing, Williams played more in the big leagues than Sparky Anderson, you're looking at it right now, did. They both managed in the minors, got their experience before getting their big chance in the majors. Dick Williams has Raleigh Fingers heating up in the A's bullpen. And Cincinnati has the bases loaded, nobody out in the last of the second, with Oakland ahead 2-0. Cesar Geronimo hit .275, 4 homers, 29 runs batted in. In the playoffs, he had just 2 hits and 20 times, but one was a big home run. He came over from Houston in that big deal last year. It brought more than him. There's ball 1. Many regarded him as just a throw-in, Al, but he's been more than that.
You know, the interesting thing about his home run in the playoffs, Curt, he's had more trouble this year with the fastball than any other pitch, and he hit a changeup thrown by Blast.
And he popped it up. Out goes Campaneris. The infield fly rule call. The batter automatically out. Runners advance at their own risk. As that ball left the bat, the umpires had to wait, first of all, to see if, in their judgment, it could be handled by an infielder. And as soon as Mel Steiner, the second base umpire, could judge that Campaneris could get to the ball, he immediately raised his arm to signify the infield fly rule. 1 out. Bases loaded, and Dave Concepcion is out. He's been platooned at shortstop. He goes against left-handed pitching. Darrell Cheney will play shortstop when left-handers are on the mound. Concepcion, when he does hit the ball, can hit it with power to right center. .209 hitter during the year with 2 homers, 29 runs batted in. He didn't play in the playoffs against Pittsburgh because the Pirates used all right-handed pitching. Fastball strike to him. Oakland leading 2-0, last of the second. The Reds have the bases loaded, 1 out. And it's a foul ball. Third base umpire Frank Humon ducking out of the way. We've had some balls hit hard by both clubs so far.
Been a couple of lengthy discussions between Dick Green, the second baseman, and Campaneris, the shortstop, as to how they're going to play the hitter Concepcion. They're giving him the middle and kind of spread out more than straight away.
The 2-strike pitch. Foul down the right field line. There's your setup against him right now with a bases loaded, 1 down. Gary Nolan, the Reds pitcher, is scheduled up behind Concepcion. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Foul back. Holtzman putting everything he had on a fastball, trying to blow it by him. Holtzman's had very good control this year, averaging 1.8 walks every 9 innings. That's excellent. Anything under 2 walks a game. But he's walked the batter here in a second. The 2-strike pitch. Curve into the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a lead runner, Johnny Bench at third. Tony Perez at second. Dennis Menke at first. You don't have great speed on the bases right now. And Dick Williams into his patrol job. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dave Concepcion. Just missed outside with that curve. 2-2. Sparky Anderson usually doesn't get excited, but I guess Pete Rose, the last 2 games of the playoff, and those cheerleaders in that red dugout had Sparky jumping too. I never saw a club as emotionally aroused as the Reds were in games 4 and 5 against the Pirates. There's actually a cheer-rooting section in that dugout. The 2-2 pitch. Bounding ball to short. Campanella flips for 1. Green over. No, not in time. In to score, Johnny Bench. It'll be a run batted in for Concepcion. The big high hopper.
Watch it again. Concepcion with pretty good speed out of the batter's box. Green will make the pivot, and Menke really went in there to upset him, causing a little bit of a delay in the throw, the relay throw from Green. He got a run for them.
Well, we wind up now with Perez at third, Concepcion at first, 2 down, and Gary Nolan up. Gary Nolan had a 142 average as a batter this year. Now Bando wants to come over to Holtzman. I think warn him about a bunt. How good a hitter is Nolan, Al?
Not very good. Not a very good bunter, to be honest.
That's a good coverage. Very honest. The pitch. Strike call to him. 2-1. Oakland leading, last of the second. The Reds have 2 down, runners on first and third. Playing Nolan to the opposite field to swing late. No balls, 2 strikes to Gary Nolan. Goes the runner, and it's a foul ball. Concepcion moving. He'll have to come back to first. The Reds scouting report to them signifies they can run on Oakland's catching. They think they can. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Gary Nolan. Concepcion going again, and it's foul ball.
Very important for a catcher, Curt, in this kind of situation, in the case of tennis right now, that in a double steal situation, that if he's going to throw through to second base, he looks back the runner at third, tries to hold him close with a little bit of a look, and then makes his throw through.
That's Perez at third, Concepcion at first, with 2 outs. And a 2-strike count to Gary Nolan. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Concepcion was holding that time, with Perez over at third. The Reds did have the bases loaded, no outs. They have a run in now and 2 down. There goes Concepcion, a strikeout. 1 run for Cincinnati, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 2, it's 2-1 Oakland.
You wait. You wait for him to surface. And when he does, you always offer up a silent thanks. He's your son and he runs the ship now. But you still live every dive he makes like you lived your own for 40 years. You know, one time around is all a man gets, but it's a full life if you live it and share it with all the gusto you can. Gusto. You look for it in everything, even in your beer. If at Schlitz, and it has been all your life. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
No matter whose steel-belted radio commercial you see, there'll probably be a demonstration of superior handling characteristics. They'll tell you how steel-belted radials make so great a difference you can actually feel it. Feel how they hug the road on sharp turns and at high speeds. So with everybody telling you similar things, which brand you buy? Well, only Uniroyal can tell you this. Worldwide, we've been selling steel-belted radials 10 years longer than any other American tire company.
We're going to the third inning in Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati. Ken Holtzman starts it off. It's a high fly to left fielder Pete Rose. The left fielders today do not have to look up into that sun. This was a murderous sun field. The first two games of the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game, which really plagued young Rennie Stennett, but it would plague any young player. But it was overcast today. A good break for the outfielders. One out. Curt Campanera singled his first time. The A's have 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. Slow curve is over, a strike. The Reds have 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. Curved him again, but missed. 1 ball, 1 strike to Campaneris. He once played all 9 positions in a game when he was with Kansas City before they moved to Oakland. 2 balls and a strike. He'll be followed by Joe Rudy. And Campaneris, 2 for 2 as he smacks a single to left. And they're not doing, I know, what the scouting report wanted them to do is keep him off. Let's take a look at his swing, Al.
He really gets down the line quickly. Menke and Perez were playing in at the corners looking for a bunt. And as soon as he hits the ball, everything in his mind is a double. Till you field it cleanly, he keeps on going.
Campaneris at first, that's actually his 5th hit in a row. He had 3 hits in a row against the Tigers. Still, he was ejected from that game. Now 2 hits today. Joe Rudy flied to center his first time. One ball, no strikes to Rudy. Oakland 2, Cincinnati 1, 3rd inning. No one's a little better than average in holding a base runner. Foul ball, 1-1. I know when the Tigers scouted Oakland, they said Rudy was their most complete player, the best all-around batter, and Cincinnati feels that way also. He hits the ball where it's pitched, outside to right, down the middle to center, and he'll pull the inside pitch. 1 out, Campaneris at first. A 1-1 count to Joe Rudy, 26 years old. There goes Campaneris. The curveball's high to throw by Bench, and he's out at second base. Joe Morgan hits the throw.
Campaneris, a pretty good jump. Johnny Bench, though, can throw out anybody if he throws a strike, and that's what he threw to Joe Morgan. And they nipped Campaneris at second. Bench this year threw out 60% of the men who tried to steal on him.
He had a good lead off first base, but that rifle arm, Johnny Bench, what more can you say, Al? You've seen it all year long.
And here it is once more. When you nail him, he has a very high percentage of base stealing attempts, and Bench right on target. Now, Rudy hits a ground ball to third. Menke over the first line. The A's are retired in the 3rd. No runs, 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left. We've gone 2.5 innings. Oakland 2 and Cincinnati 1.
Lee Trevino has just won another one, and we're going to try to... Lee, I got to talk to you. I'd like to talk to you.
Can't hear you, Joe. That was a tough guy first out there.
I got to ask you about one shot.
Well, let's go someplace where it's quiet.
Where?
Well, right here in my big Dodge. Quiet as you could ever want. Come on.
Much better. Now on that 14th, Lee, I want to ask you something about
this is just pure luxury.
Well, you earned it today.
You know, Joe, Big Dodge is the car for Superman.
But I want to ask you about a bunker.
Hey, you seen the electronic ignition?
But,
it's as sure as one of my parts. And the torsion quiet ride hugs the road like a Texas sidewinder.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
I'll show you.
But hold it. Not now. Hold it. Hold it. Wait a minute.
Ain't that smooth and quiet?
Oh, for crying out.
Hey, what you going to do that for?
Because you were starting to sound just like a commercial.
Extra care and engineering makes a difference in Dodge. Depend on it.
They say to beat the Reds, you've got to keep those first three hitters off the base in front of Bench and, of course, Perez. We asked Pete Rose before the ball game how important it was for the A's to keep those first three hitters off.
Well, Tony, it's so important because you got guys like Bench and Perez coming up, and I think if you keep Morgan from stealing bases, getting in a scoring position, and keep going from first to third, you're going to keep the Big Red Machine from scoring runs, and I think that's what you have to do to win ball games.
Rose grounded out to third his first time. Ball one to him. Switch hitter. A 1-0 pitch. Foul ball. 1-1.
Curt, Pete feels more comfortable left-handed. Throughout his career, he's been a better left-handed hitter, yet strangely this year he hit for a higher average from the right side, and when somebody totaled it up in early September, it surprised him.
There's the, we already gave you his outstanding performance in the playoffs. With his .450 batting average against Pittsburgh. It's a high chopper to third. Band will have to hurry his throw in time. One down in the last of the third inning. And Joe Morgan up. Morgan grounded out his first time. Morgan has a jammed heel. He hurt it in Game 4, sliding into second base against Pittsburgh. Oakland leading Cincinnati 2-1, last of the third. The strike, good pitch. 0-1. Another left-hander, Bobby Tolan's on deck. When Morgan flaps that elbow twice, he says he's confident and comfortable. More than that, he's not. Twice. Foul ball. No balls, 2 strikes. So right now we have a relaxed Joe Morgan at the plate.
That's a habit he picked up from Nellie Fox when Joe was at Houston and Fox was a coach in '68, to keep his arm away from his body.
1 out, base is empty. Foul again. 0-2. Mrs. Morgan looking on right now in Oakland. And she'll be able to watch the World Series. She's expecting in November. They'll be playing Tuesday in Oakland. These 2 clubs. There's the fly ball. The left field coming on is Joe Rudy. Puts it away, and they're 2 down. You know, today before the game, there was a brief field ceremony where the trophy for the American Legion Baseball National Champions was presented. The trophy was presented to a team from Baldwin, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. They won the American Legion National Championship in Memphis, September 5th of this year. One of the prizes for the team, a trip to the World Series. There has been a tremendous program for young fellows in this country for years and years, American Legion Baseball. Bobby Tolan up. He popped it outside third, band over by the A's dugout, and can't get in there as it hits the top and bounds in. Our congratulations to the Baldwin, Missouri team for their American Legion national title. These 2 clubs playing for the Major League World Championship. Oakland leading 2-1, last of the third. Tolan grounded to short his first time. Foul ball outside the bag to Epstein. No balls, 2 strikes. You joined us late, Gene Tennis with 2 outs. Hendrick aboard with a walk, hit a 2-run homer to left field. The last of the second, the Reds loaded the bases. Concepcion's ground ball force out scored Johnny Bench from third. And that's been it. Line drive, just over the head of Campaneris to left field. Rudy up with it, quickly in, and Tolan's the base runner. That's the 3rd hit for Cincinnati. And here's one of the better base stealers in the game also, Bobby Tolan, who stole 42 bases in 56 attempts. Now the Reds think they can run on Tennis and Duncan. And with 2 down, would be an ideal spot if Tolan wants to go. Johnny Bench is the batter. Play him deep straight away in the outfield. He singled his first time. They try to keep Tolan close. If Tolan does go, Green, the second baseman, will have to cover because Campaneris is way over in the hole as shortstop against Bench. 1 ball, no strikes to Johnny Bench. There he goes. They've got him, and they make a good throw to second, and he is out. Pitcher to first to the second baseman, Dick Green. 1-3-4. No runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left at the end of 3. It's Oakland 2, Cincinnati 1.
Introducing the Roughnecks. Shaving leaves their necks rough and irritated, but now for the Roughnecks, a special kind of Gillette Foamy. Face Saver, with 25% more lubricants for better protection against shaving irritation. Face Saver looks different, feels different. Feel the way your razor glides over even the most sensitive part of your face, your neck. So if shaving irritates your neck, get Foamy Face Saver for the Roughnecks.
Hi, Guy. Sid?
What's this, a new kind of right guard antiperspirant?
Hi there. That's my new Right Guard Natural Scent.
Natural scent?
It's new, light and fresh. You know, natural. Smell it.
Huh? Smells terrific.
It's Right Guard. Helps keep you dry all day.
New Right Guard natural scent. Does Mona know about you?
Oh, they moved.
Oh?
This is my husband, Bruno.
Bruno? Hi, Guy.
We'll start our World Series coverage tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The starting pitchers, by the way, left-hander Grimsley for Cincinnati, right-hander Hunter for Oakland. And after the World Series, professional football. Cincinnati at Kansas City, Buffalo at Oakland. Check the local listings for the football game to be seen in your area. A baseball-football doubleheader tomorrow on NBC. And we start at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Curt Gowdy with Al Michaels, Tony Kubek. We're in the top of the 4th inning in Cincinnati. Matty Alou, Mike Epstein, Sal Bando, the number 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Oakland lineup. Alou popped up into a double play his first time. Strike to him. 3 Alou brothers have played in the big leagues. For a few games, they all played in the same San Francisco Giant outfield. What are the odds on that? 3 members of one family. 1966, Matty and Philippe finished 1-2 in the National League batting race. Strike 2. Now you think you got him with 2 strikes on him, but he's hard to strike out.
He can swing at the darndest pitches, balls that bounce, balls that are over his head, until 2 strikes appear on the scoreboard. Then he becomes a little bit more protective and just knows how to get that fat part of the bat on the ball.
Gary Nolan has given up 3 hits, no strikeouts. He's walked 1. No balls, 2 strikes to Matty Alou. Hit to the box, hauled down by Nolan on a good stab. 1 down. Epstein. A big game hunting guide in the fall out in my native state of Wyoming. Epstein also is quite a gunsmith, makes his own guns and bullets. He's from the Bronx, New York. And the pitch to him, ball one. He'll be returning to the Bay Area where he went to school at the University of California and played fullback for the California Golden Bears and on their baseball team. 1 ball, 1 strike. Epstein's had his best year. His biggest problem, he gets mad at himself, fights himself. Oakland leading 2-1, top of the 4th. 1 out, nobody on. Slow curve, hits the 3rd. Menke with an easy play, throws him out, and they're 2 down. Now Nolan is starting to get effective with that slow curve. He's got the batters off their timing. That's his style. 2 down, nobody on. Sal Bando up, flying out his first time. That time the slow curve is high for a ball. Bando graduated from Warrensville Heights, Ohio High School in '62. He pops it up to the right side. Joe Morgan waiting to squeeze it. He does, and easily. A's are down 1-2-3 at the end of 3.5, 2-1 Oakland.
Winchester's here, and Winchester's something else.
New kind of smoke that's something else.
Winchester, a little cigar that's a whole nother smoke. New golden taste, new filtered smoothness, mild and light.
Winchester's you. Winchester's something else.
We hold these crews themselves from everything that...
For us at Eastern Airlines, taking a 3rd grade class from Atlanta to discover their country is one of the most important things we do.
Rise among these our life's liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
And because people are important to us, more people fly with us than any other airline in the free world but one. Eastern Airlines, the wings of man.
I'll never forget the time a pro scout came to one of our scrimmages. We couldn't do anything right. The only thing that did go right was that keg of draft beer we had. I never knew beer could taste so fresh and goes down so smooth. And today, though none of us made it to the pros, we still drink that same draft beer in cans, thanks to Peel's Real Draft.
Peel's Real Draft, the kind of beer you first loved.
First pitch to Johnny Bench, ball 1. Bench singled his first time. He was left at the plate when Tolan was out trying to steal in the 3rd. A 1-0 delivery by Holtzman. Ball 2. The 4 starting pitchers of the A's, Hunter, Odom, Holtzman, and Blue, have a contest among themselves, seeing who can pitch the quickest. They run to the mound, they run off the mound, they like to work quickly. The 2-0 delivery. Not a bad idea, too. It speeds the game up. The fate of a game, the way it moves, the pacing, is in the pitcher's hands.
It's great for an infielder, too, Curt. You don't sit back, get on your heels. You're keyed up all the time.
A 3-0 delivery to Bench. That's a strike, 3-1. Tony Perez will follow, and then Menke. 3 right-handed batters here in the last of the 4th for the Reds. That's Perez. Holtzman pitching 3-1. Strike 2, 3-2. We saw a lot of this in the playoffs. Batter thought he had a walk, but that's tenseness. That's anxiety to get on. The home plate umpire doesn't like it. The 3-2 pitch to Bench. Foul back. Johnny Bench from Binger, Oklahoma. Now living here in the Cincinnati area with his mother and father. Cincinnati's most eligible bachelor. The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, benches on. That's the second walk by Holtzman.
Traveling around with the Reds all year, he might be America's most eligible bachelor, Curt.
He has the looks, he's articulate, and he's a star. Tony Perez, singled, and he makes pretty good money. Oakland leading 2-1, last of the fourth inning. Perez shoots it in the right center. Bench is rounding second. He's going to third, and he'll be in there easily. The throw comes into second base. Tony Perez coming up with 2 hits in a row.
Matty Alou ran a long ways, Curt, to prevent Perez from getting a double.
Tony Perez is hot right now, Curt. He was cold the first 4 games of the playoffs, came to life in the last game, and now he has 2 hits. He's been a streak hitter all season long.
I think that's the story of his career, and if he is getting hot, it's bad news for the Oakland A's, because when he gets hot and gets in one of those streaks, he's very difficult to get out. Raleigh Fingers starting to warm up again for Oakland. There's a ground ball to short. Campaneris to Green for 1 over to first. No, and a tying run score. Mickey's ground ball to short. A force out on Perez at second, and Johnny Bench has scored his second run of the game.
Here it is, Campy ranging far to his right. He looked at a little difficulty getting the ball out of his glove. Ball not hit very sharply, so Menke had plenty of time to beat it.
2-2 now. 1 out for Cincinnati. Menke at first. Geronimo. Foul over by the A's dugout. Out of play. The Reds had a better won-and-loss percentage against left-handers than against right-handers this last year. They were good against both types of pitching, or they wouldn't have won their 94 ball game. 1 strike. There goes the runner. Ground ball nearly through the hole, just stabbed by Dick Green, who was going over to cover second, and he had to retrace his steps, so that was a perfect hit-and-run play in the right field. So Menke is in the second base. Geronimo is thrown out by Dick Green. There are 2 down, and now Concepcion is coming up. We're going to pause briefly for identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB Channel 6.
Curt Gowdy, Al Michaels, Tony Kubek with you here in Cincinnati. Dick Williams has moved to the mound to talk to Holtzman about pitching or not pitching to Concepcion, with Menke on second base. 2 outs. The Reds have tied the game. That's Raleigh Fingers. He's ready. It's the second time he's been up in that Oakland bullpen today. The Reds now have out-hit the A's 4-3. The A's had a big hit on Gene Tennis's 2-run homer in the top of the second. The Reds have chipped away with a single run in the second, a run here in the fourth. They're going to put Concepcion on and work against Gary Nolan.
Curt, I have to think Sparky Anderson isn't at all unhappy about this, because the worst that happens is that Nolan goes out, the Reds don't score, and that means Rose leads off the next inning, and the Reds love to start an inning with the top of the order.
I don't blame them, with Rose, Morgan, and Tolan. 3 of the best, maybe the 3 best in any lineup in baseball to start an inning. They can all hit the ball, they all have speed. That's Perez alongside of Sparky Anderson. Here's Gary Nolan now. He struck out his first time. Cincinnati has runners on first and second, 2 out. They have a run in. They've tied the game at 2-2 in the last of the fourth. Foul back. Game 2 tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Game 3 in Oakland The game will start 5:15 Oakland time. We'll be on at 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time with a World Series report with Joe Garagiola and then the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the 3 games from Oakland, we're out there and we go 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. All 3 games are played in Oakland. They'll be seen starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. There's a drive, twisting down the right field line. Foul. Nolan nearly had that one flunked into the right field corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gary Nolan. Dennis Menke at second. Dave Concepcion at first. 2 out. Ken Holtzman has walked 3, given up 4 hits, struck out 1. Foul again. Nolan hangs in.
Curt, you can almost see that Holtzman at this point does not have great faith in his breaking ball. Having Nolan 2 strike, you'd expect him to come in there and break off a good curveball to get him out of there, but he's coming with a fastball.
And that time he gave him the curve and is fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gary Nolan. Menke will go back to second. Concepcion to first. 2 out. Sellout throng today of over 50,000 here in Riverfront Stadium. Struck him out. 1 run, 1 hit. There were no errors, 2 left. At the end of 4 innings, it's tied 2-2.
Hey, look! Hey! Mister, you've got that spool wrong.
No, it's convertible.
Convertible?
Well, it means 3 cars in 1. Like this. See, this is my car over here, the new Dodge Dart Sport.
But why 3 cars in 1?
It's a 5-seat economy car, right?
Right.
It's convertible, too. That's the optional sunroof. Okay, now flip the optional fold-down rear seat and open the trunk.
Dad, it's a wagon, too. Oh, I want to ride in the wagon. I want to ride in the...
Dart Sport. It can give a guy quite a choice.
What do experienced travelers take on vacation?
The first thing we pack is the American Express card. The American Express card makes the whole trip possible.
I was standing on the last time I used my American Express card, and I rented these skis.
I like having an American Express credit card because it gives me an opportunity to be independent of my husband.
I'll take American Express for everything here. Absolutely fantastic.
Call 800-AE8-5000 to apply for an American Express money card.
And those are the World Series night games we were telling you about. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from the Oakland Coliseum. 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Tony Kubek, have you spotted anything in the first 4 innings?
I think a very important thing happened in that first inning when Campaneris tried to steal second base, and Concepcion gave him a very fine decoy. And they doubled Campy back on first base on the line drive. I think that's very important for the remainder of the series and whether it's going to hold Campaneris close, who is the key to that Oakland ball club.
And now Gary Nolan in the 4th inning looked the best of any inning in the game.
It'll be interesting to see just how far he can go, Curt. The other day he looked sharp through 6 and his arm stiffened up. In the 7th, I would not be at all surprised to see Sparky go to the bullpen regardless of how Nolan looks, no later than the 7th inning.
George Hendrick leads it off for the A's. Slow curve fools him, 0-1. Hendrick walked his first time. Gary Nolan pitched his last complete game on June 26th. There's a big chopper to Morgan. Hendrick can run. The throw, out at first base. Morgan just nabs him. And here comes Dick Williams charging out to argue now. Gary Adair, the first base coach, is arguing with first base umpire Jim Honeychek. They're going to lose the argument, of course.
Curt, I don't think they're arguing whether or not Hendrick beat the play. I think they're arguing that Tony Perez may have left the base a little bit too soon, going out for that low throw for Morgan.
going back. Hurt. Booed from the crowd.
Watch it again. Morgan knows he's got to hurry as it's a high bounder. Now watch Perez. I don't believe he left the base. He had that heel dragging across, going out to get the throw.
Here it is from another angle now. Perez. Oh, he's put on the bag, definitely. Good call from the first base umpire, Honeycheck. And once more, as we slow it down, this is from in back. You can't see the ball there, but Perez's foot was on the bag, and it's strike one. And Gene Tennis, who hit the two-run homer for the A's in the top of the second. There's a long drive deep down the left field line. That's going down. Gene Tennis has hit his second home run in this World Series game. He is not a home run hitter. He hit a two-run homer in the second. This one right down the line, well back into the seats, and the A's lead 3-2.
He gets a hanging curve this time, and it's a different pitch than he hit for his first home run. Hit a fastball inside. This time Nolan hangs a curve, and out it goes. So I don't know what Gary's going to throw him the next time.
What confidence. He's like, I do it all the time, fans. I hit 2 homers in a World Series game all the time. There's a pop-up by Dick Green. Coming on, right fielder Geronimo. Center fielder Tolan puts it away, and they're 2 down. Well, the big surprise so far, Gene Tennis with 2 home runs back-to-back. This hasn't been done very often in World Series history. Ken Holtzman, the A's pitcher, up. 3-2, Oakland in the top of the 5th. Now the sun is starting to sift through the clouds. Tennis is the first player to hit 2 homers in a series game since Rico Petrocelli did it back-to-back in 1967 for the Red Sox against the Cardinals. There's a ball hit out to deep left that Rose backs up on, waits, and has. That's it. 1 run, 1 hit. Gene Tennis, the second homer. There were no errors, nobody left. We've gone halfway, and the score, Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
Mr. Atlas?
Yes?
I understand millions of people are buying tires named after you.
Right. They know Atlas tires are built for strength.
Hey! Gee,
That deep tread helps give you long mileage and good traction.
Well, where can I get them to fit my car?
There's an Atlas tire for every need and pocketbook at 50,000 leading service stations. There's one near you.
Say, who's holding up the world?
Atlas tires, all built with the strength of Atlas.
When you belong, you know you've made a place for yourself.
Belonging is what credit unions are all about. You're more than a customer. You belong.
When you belong, it all belongs to you. Join your credit union, that's where you belong.
I have to explain to Gene Tennis fans, I wasn't that shocked when he hit that second home run. I just, by accident, got a little frog in my throat. So it wasn't being too shocked over his job of hitting 2 home runs in a row. Well, we've gone 4.5 innings. Oakland, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Cincinnati, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Ken Holtzman now is ready to work against the top of the Cincinnati batting order, and to carry you on play-by-play the rest of the way, Al Michaels.
Thank you, Curt. Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, and Bobby Tolan in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3 runs, 4 hits for the A's, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Reds. Pete Rose became the all-time Cincinnati hit leader this year, surpassing Vada Pinson in late August. Rose 0 for 2 is twice grounded to Bando. The A's with 2 in the second. The Reds with a run in the second. 1 in the 4th. And then the second home run by Tennis to put the A's on top in the 5th. 3-2 Oakland. Rose takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Tomorrow, Ross Grimsley for the Reds. Catfish Hunter, a right-hander for the A's, so Rose will turn around. center. Hendrick goes back, has room, makes the catch. One away. Rose gone for the third time, and up comes Joe Morgan.
You know, Al, actually, the A's feel that Hendrick is a better center fielder, covers more ground than Reggie Jackson. Jackson's more of a natural right fielder. So defensively, the A's may not have lost much out there in center, but of course they're going to miss Jackson fat in the World Series.
Joe Morgan grounded out in the first, flied out in the third. Hit .292, his best average ever during the regular season. 1-0. Morgan came to the Reds with a troublemaker reputation. Bad guy on the club, they said. Turned out to be anything but. Probably takes a needle better than anybody on the club. 1-1. Holtzman 8 lifetime victories against the Reds, but just one complete game, the no-hitter last June 3rd. Grounded foul, 1-2. George Scherger, the first base coach. He was Sparky Anderson's first professional manager. Had him at Santa Barbara in 1951, and Sparky said at the time, if I ever manage in the big leagues, you're coming with me. And in 1970, Scherger came. Morgan goes down swinging, and the out recorded at first. 2 away. 3 strikeouts for Holtzman. 2 out, bases empty, and Bobby Tolan the batter.
So far, Holtzman appears to have control of his sidearm curveball to the left-handed hitters. He's having difficulty with the overhand curveball, which is going to be so essential to him late in this ballgame, especially to the right-hand hitters.
Bobby Tolan grounded out in the first, singled in the third. Runs up to bunt, strike one. Garrick Utley and the NBC News team report all the latest world and national events on tonight's edition of the NBC Nightly News, and John Chancellor anchors the weeknight editions of NBC Nightly News, right here on NBC. High fly ball to left field. Rudy started in and gets back in time, and the side is retired. So Rose, Morgan, and Tolan go out 1, 2, 3. And at the end of 5, it remains A's 3, Reds 2.
Here's what happened when some regular gasoline users switched to Shell's new Super Regular.
I get out in the morning, just turn the switch, and she kicks off, and away I go. Once I got into this new gas that Shell put out, the Super Regular, I said, you can keep everything, I'll stick to this.
We switched over to the Super Regular, and it starts fast in the morning. Don't have it dying out like I used to.
Get onto the freeway, I tip on the gas, and everything sort of starts rattling. I'm no expert on cars or anything, but I know this is kind of shouldn't be there. And I tried this Shell Super Regular, and it seemed to take care of that. I don't know if any more paying.
Most times when I get in the car, it takes till I get around the block for the car not to cough. And it hasn't been coughing now with the Super Regular.
Super Regular and the Big Red Pump. Good drivability, plus more octane than the average regular. Ask our customers. Shell products perform.
We pause now for station identification.
See the award-winning NBC Nightly News with John Chancellor, weeknights.
I've just worked up a thirst that only an ale can satisfy.
Those were the lusty ale days. We brought them all back with Miller Ale, brewed from a very special traditional recipe. Take a step backward, try Miller Ale from out of the ale days.
WRGB Schenectady.
Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2, Game 1 of the 1972 World Series as Gary Nolan heats up for the Reds. In the 6th inning, the top of the order for the A's, Campy Campaneris, then Joe Rudy, and Matty Alou. Campaneris has singled twice. Tony made an interesting point before. He's been cut down on the base pass both times. Hit and run in the first inning. Alou popped out. It turned into a double play, and then Bench threw him out trying to steal in the third. So Campaneris has gotten on twice, but it hasn't done the A's any good so far. First pitch in the sixth inning, over for a strike. 0-1. We had the largest crowd in Cincinnati baseball history on Monday, 52,000 for playoff game number 3. Might exceed it today. 1-1 the count. The Reds used to play in Crosley Field. Moved in here in 70. Met the Orioles in the World Series, lost in 5. 2-1.
And Al, as you know, when the Reds moved from Crosley Field to this new stadium, they revamped their ball club with the type of player they wanted here instead of the little ballpark where the power man was dominant.
Speed and defense. Fielded by Menke. Great play to rob Campaneris. 1 away.
Menke playing in a little bit in front of the bag. Not much time to react, but look at him get up in the air. Timed Campaneris line drive perfectly.
Dennis Menke, he's been the glue in the infield this year. Hasn't hit for a high average, but a lot of key hits. Consistent defensively all season long. Perez played third base last year. The trade of Lee May to Houston enabled Tony to go to first. Menke taking over at third. Here's Rudy. 1-0. Rudy is flied out and grounded out. Led the American League in hits this year.
He's really made himself into a fine ball player with hard work. Proved every year.
In the dirt, 2-0. He credits Charlie Lau, the former Oakland coach. One out, bases empty, sixth inning. A's leading 3-2. Gene Tennis accounting for all the Oakland scoring with 2 homers. 3-0 the count. Nolan has walked 1. He has struck out none. There's the on-deck man, Matty Alou. Nolan, 24 years old, from Furlong, California. In for a strike, 3-1. He's very mature. If you met Gary on the street, you might think he was, 32, 33 years old, married early, settled him down. The pitch is hit in the air to right field. Geronimo, easy play. 2 down.
Well, this is the time of the ball game when during the playoffs Nolan began taking a little more time between pitches. I don't know if the reasoning is to try and let his arm recover a little bit more, give it a little more rest, and then he started looking a little bit into the dugout towards Sparky. He came out to warm up. There he goes looking into the dugout again, wondering if his arm isn't starting to bother him a shade.
No activity in the Reds pen. The other day in the playoffs, of course, Nolan went 6, came out, warmed up in the 7th, and then it was it. Ball 1 to Alou. Matty popped out, and Morgan turned it into a double play in the first, then bounced out. A nice play by Nolan in the 4th, 0 for 2. Foul back, and it's 1-1. Nolan was almost a cinch to start the All-Star game had he been healthy this year. And then that's when the arm problems started in Chicago just before the All-Star break. He pitched very infrequently over the second half of the season and really felt that he let his teammates down. Ball 2. 2-1. Gary very anxious to get a chance to start in the playoffs. Worked the other day, no decision. And now working the opener. 3-1 the count. At the age of 24, Nolan is starting his 3rd World Series game. Pitched the opener and one other game in 1970. Irv Noren down at 3rd. 3-1 pitch. Fouled away. Full count. 2 out, nobody on. The Reds know about Alou. Matty with the Pirates, then with the Cardinals. Went to Oakland in August. In the dirt, it's away from bench, and Johnny just now finds it. And Alou will hold on at first. So Nolan issues his second walk.
First walk hurt him. He had 2 down, nobody on. When he walked Hendrick, then Tennis came up behind Hendrick and hit the home run. Now 2 down and a walk to Alou. Epstein, the batter.
Mike Epstein flying to right in the second inning, grounded out in the 4th. Best year in 1972. Started with Baltimore, then went to the Senators. Grew up in Los Angeles, then went to the University of California. First pitch to Mike, a swing and a miss, 0-1. Epstein with 26 home runs this year, 70 runs batted in. The A's had 4 players with 70 or more RBIs, between 70 and 80. One of them, of course, Reggie Jackson, not available now. Alou at first, 2 down. 0-2 the count.
This team didn't hit as well in July and August. Up to about the halfway mark, they had 4 players with over 50 RBI. They came back in September when they had to. They had a 9-game lead at one time over the White Sox and lost the lead several days.
Epstein grounds it foul. 0-2. Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2 in the 6th. Perez at first, holding on Alou. Sal Bando on deck. The Reds playing Epstein to pull. Just outside. Morgan playing deep at second. Concepcion plugging up the middle. Menke well off the line at third. Epstein grounds it to Morgan, and Joe is deep enough to come up with it and get him. Epstein gone, so are the A's. No runs, no hits, a man left. At the end of 5.5, A's 3, Reds 2.
Frank, have a boy. My wife just had a Muriel. It's a boy.
Oh? Muriel. That's no name for a boy, young man.
Have a cigar.
Oh, have a baby?
No, thanks. We just had one. I had my first Muriel cigar 15 years ago when I had my first kid. Terrific. Been smoking Muriels ever since.
Mild Muriels. Easy to start with, easy to stay with.
There he is. Hi, I'm Joe Garagiola. Now, to most of you, this new Dodge Charger might seem just too good looking to be practical. But let's talk about room for 6, family-sized trunk space, electronic ignition for more dependable starting, smooth, torsion, quiet ride. Let's face it, ladies, you want to talk practical? You're talking Dodge Charger. Okay, guys, you got your Charger.
Dodge. Depend on it.
If you've registered, then you're eligible to vote on November 7th. That means you have a say in the choice of the next president of the United States. And that's a pretty big responsibility. Doesn't come around too often. It'd be a shame to miss out on this one. So take a few minutes on November 7th and go to your local polling place. The lever you pull is the sound of your voice being heard. Vote. For additional information about voting, contact your local League of Women Voters.
Bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Oakland. Johnny Banks. Outside ball 1. Banks has scored both Reds runs. Singled in the second, walked in the fourth, scored on force outs both times. Driven to right field into the corner. Alou is back off the fence. Bench digging for two, and he makes it standing up. Johnny Bench on base for the third time today. He singled, walked, and now a double to right, and the A's with activity in the bullpen. Left-hander Vida Blue, right-hander Raleigh Fingers.
The Reds believe that Johnny Bench is the most valuable player in all of baseball. You can see why. The way he handles the pitching, the way he throws, and the way he hits. And he's still young.
Activity now in the Reds bullpen. Nolan perhaps indicating that his arm is stiffening a bit. Right-hander Pedro Bourbon. The A's 3 runs, 4 hits. The Reds 2 runs, 5 hits. Bench the tying run at second base with nobody out. Dick Williams is coming out. They've waived the rule in the series. It used to be the second time you came out in an inning, you had to take the pitcher out, but in the series you can come out as much as you like.
Another thing they're doing as far as confrontations on the mound, they're using the American League rule where just 4 can be there. There is Fingers. He's coming in the game.
Perez has had 2 hits. Menke slapped the ball hard up behind him, and Williams is afraid of the right-handed hitters in the Cincinnati lineup with Holtzman now. So he's going to make his change and bring in his right-hand relief ace, Raleigh Fingers, to replace Holtzman. We'll have a break in the action here at Cincinnati. The score in the last of the 6th inning, Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
Harry, make sure you get a close shave and don't cut yourself.
Don't worry, this is a track too. 2 blades, but recessed so they're safe.
Then how are you going to shave close?
When the first blade shaves a whisker, it lifts it out from the face. And before it all snaps back, the second blade can shave it again, closer.
Harry, look at your daughter.
Gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
The track 2. Gillette made it 1 blade better.
Jim Gibbs, Wethead. Jim Gibbs, the dry look. Bill Riley, Wethead. Bill Riley, the dry look. Bob Schneider, Wethead. Bob Schneider, the dry look.
Here's more evidence of why the Wethead is dead. More men all over the country discovering the dry look from Gillette. Number 1, aerosol hair control. Adjustable valve, sprays as light as you like.
Dennis McIntyre, Wethead. Dennis McIntyre, the dry look.
The dry look from Gillette.
This is Reggie Smith. When you play ball, you play your best and you play to win. If you're high on pot, acid, or speed, you can't concentrate on whether the pitch is high or low, straight or a curve, fast or off speed. You're bound to strike out at the ballpark, at home, and at school. You may think you're a winner, but you're not if you let anybody talk you into trying things. Stay on a winning team with a healthy body and a healthy mind.
The preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. Raleigh Fingers, the new pitcher, and Tony Perez takes a strike. Perez has singled twice. Raleigh Fingers pitched in 3 games in the playoffs. Worked 5 1/3 innings. Gave up 1 run. Won a game. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. Fingers appeared in 65 games this year. 11-9, 21 saves. A 2.51 earned run average. He's 26 years old, born in Steubenville, Ohio. Now lives out in California, the town of Newark.
Hey, David!
Strike 2 pitch is fouled back. Down in the bullpen, Darrell Cheney, number 12, is loosening up. He is the shortstop who is platooned with Concepcion. Man in the middle is Larry Shepard, the pitching coach, as Bourbon warms up. Sparky Anderson looking ahead, may hit for Concepcion. Perez swings and misses, and so Fingers strikes out the first man he faces. 1 away. First time Perez has gone down today. Menke the batter. Holtzman went 5 innings plus, charged with 5 hits, at least 2 runs. Man at second, bench his responsibility. Walked 3, struck out 3. Dennis Menke walked in the second. Hit into a force play to drive in a run in the 4th. 1-0. Vida Blue still throwing in the A's bullpen, and now right-hander Bob Locker has joined him. One out, bench at second. Down low and away from the catcher Tennis, but not far enough. 2-0 the count.
1 run down. I think Johnny Bench started to go, then reconsidered when he saw the ball did not roll far enough away from Tennis.
Bench holding at second, the tying run. Dennis Menke, first year with the Reds, came over in the Astro trade, still lives in Houston. Came up first with the Braves in Milwaukee, went with them to Atlanta, then with the Astros. A strike, and it's 2-1. On deck is Cesar Geronimo. Johnny Bench at second. He doubled. 2-1 the count. Outfield straight away on Menke. Fingers in relief of Postman. Menke grounds it foul into the A's dugout.
In that A's dugout, we have an unusual sight. You see the crutch there. We have a man in civilian clothes. Reggie Jackson. He was there a moment ago where the crutch is. There he is. That's very rare. Connie Mack, as the manager of the A's, used to be in civilian clothes.
They get Menke, strike 3. So Fingers has come on to strike out 2. As we look at Jackson. And again, Dick Williams going to the mound. Geronimo will be the batter. Those seats, they look like they're empty seats. They're for football only, and that's why they're empty. And they're the only seats in the park that are empty today. Every seat that you could sell was sold. And standing room was sold, and people standing on both levels underneath.
Fingers has had a good breaking ball so far today. That's his pitch that he uses most when he's in difficulty. He has a pretty good sinker when he comes 3/4. When he comes over, it's straight over the top and pretty straight.
Oh, he's rough on right-handers, Tony.
Bando with Fingers and Williams, Gene Tennis. And the crowd getting restless. Locker in blue. It's Holtzman's game to win. He worked 5 innings, leaves with the lead. So if Fingers gets out of the inning and the A's are never headed, Holtzman would be the winner. Cesar Geronimo popped out in the second, grounded out in the 4th. Was a different fellow this season after the All-Star game. Hit less than 200 before it. 0-1. Geronimo, the opening day right fielder, didn't hit, took him out of the lineup, used Hal McRae out there, Ted Eulander, George Foster. And then Sparky finally decided to go back with Geronimo. Breaking pitch for a strike, 0-2.
Vida Blue could play an important part in this game. Williams likes to play the percent. If the Reds get left-handers up in key spots later, you may see Blue in here. Darrell Knowles used to do that job. He was the man that came in and got the big left-hander out, but he's out of the series with a broken thumb.
Geronimo fouls it away.
And Blue did the job against the Tigers with his shutout, relief pitching, to win the pennant for Oakland. We may see him in here before this one's over.
The A's are going with only 8 pitchers, 8 eligible pitchers for the World Series. The Reds have 10. Geronimo lines it to Rudy in left, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Right on the money, but Rudy playing him just right, and the Reds go down in the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, One man left on at the end of 6. A's 3, Reds 2.
In shape and size, it looks like an ordinary battery. But inside is a more powerful energy system. This is the Ever-Ready Alkaline Energizer, the long-life power cell that outworks, outlasts, outlives any ordinary battery in heavy-duty use. The Ever-Ready Alkaline Energizer, the long-life power cell from Ever-Ready.
And please remain seated until the aircraft...
Here it comes. The long wait for the rent-a-car and the rental form to fill out. All those questions. I'll never make my appointment. Reservation for Mr. Lyman.
Oh, yes, Mr. Lyman, thank you.
Now, when you reserve from Avis, the information you give on the phone is given to the Wizard of Avis, most sophisticated computer in the travel world.
Your Plymouth is waiting right over there.
Hey, I'm early. Maybe I'll have a cup of coffee.
Baseball, football, doubleheader tomorrow. World Series report with Joe Garagiola starting at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Then Game 2 of the World Series at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Cincinnati against Kansas City in the NFL. Buffalo against Oakland on NBC. And Gene Tennis right now is the story of this game with his 2 home runs. We'll be talking about him later. And let's pick up Sal Bando with Al Michaels.
All right, Curt, the new pitcher for the Reds is Pedro Bourbon. So Nolan has come out, and Bourbon will work the 7th inning. Bando 0 for 2. Takes low, ball 1. So obviously a case of what happened the other day, the arm stiffening up. Nolan, who has not thrown a complete game in 3 months, has to come out. And here's Bourbon. Inside the Bando, ball 2. Bourbon had a world of stuff with the Angels a few years ago. He was involved in the Alex Johnson trade. Came over along with Jim McLaughlin. The Reds looked at him in spring training. Didn't like what they saw. Sent him to the minors. Brought him up at the end of 70. Sent him back in 71. Bando grounds it to Morgan. 1 away. Hendrick will be the batter.
Morgan's played some second base for you this year, hasn't he, Al?
Done a great job. Offensively, defensively, I think he surprised everybody defensively. I think the Reds expected what they got from Morgan offensively, power and speed, good average, but he's made all the plays. Hendrick, strike 1. Hendrick walked in the 2nd, grounded out in the 5th.
We talked about the Oakland bullpen. The Reds have a very formidable bullpen crew.
Fouled back 0-2. Tommy Hall was really the key man in the playoffs. The left-hander came on twice, did a great job twice. Clay Carroll set a new major league record this year for saves, 37. Down low, ball 1. The bullpen is so formidable that the Reds were 3rd in the league in earned run average, yet were last in the league in complete games. Pop foul out of play. 1-2 on Hendrick. Oakland leading 3-2 with 1 out, bases empty, top of the 7th. Bourbon pitched in 3 of the playoff games. During the year, he worked in 62 games. Fouled back 1-2. Bourbon 8-3, 11 saves, a 3.17 earned run average. 26 years old, born and lives in the Dominican Republic. This is his first full season with the Reds. Grounded foul outside 3rd. Bourbon was given very little chance to make the staff this year in spring training. The Reds went to Tampa with 15 pitchers, and I'd say Bourbon might have been rated 14th on paper. Sparky Anderson said he was going to go north with 10, but Bourbon was spectacular in the spring, and they had to keep him. And he justified his selection during the regular season. Up high, count even. On deck is the man who has driven in all the A's runs, Gene Tennis. A pair of homers. Unintentionally fouled off.
Only man to ever hit 3 home runs in a series game. Babe Ruth, he did it twice. We'll wait for tennis to come up for a crack at it.
2-2 is fouled off.
Al, I spoke with George Hendrick just before game time, and he said, I've got to tell you, I've never been so frightened in all my life. He said, but I'm going to do what I learned to do as a young boy. Throw hard, run hard, and swing the bat hard, and he did it on that last pitch.
Not a bad formula.
Hendrick, born in Los Angeles, still lives there. Again, an unintentional foul. 2-2.
You know, Al, the Reds admit that they were awed in the 1970 World Series, the first for many of them, that they were tight, they were tense, and they think it's a great advantage to have one series behind them.
Outside, ball 3, full count. They have something to prove. Johnny Bench has talked about it. Pete Rose has talked about it. A big advantage to have played in the series before. A comebacker, knocked down and picked up, and there's 2 down. Here's Gene Tennis.
Babe Ruth, October 6, 1926, hit 3 homers at St. Louis. October 9th to 28th, hit 3 homers at St. Louis in a World Series game. And Gene Tennis now has a chance to hit 3 homers. He's hit 2, his first 2 up.
Swings a half-swing grounder to short. And Concepcion gets him to retire the side. So Tennis gone for the first time. Bourbon sets the Oakland A's down 1-2-3 in the 7th, and at the end of 6 1/2 it remains. Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
A his and hers guide to Big Dodge 73. For her, more room, more beauty and comfort with automatic transmission and power steering standard. For him, rugged torsion bar suspension, power front disc brakes, dependable electronic ignition, and one of the biggest trunks in America. And for both of you, a price that may surprise you. Extra care and engineering makes a difference in a Big Dodge. Depend on it.
I'll never forget the first time my father brought me to Ernie's to have a couple of draft beers with his friends.
I want you to meet my son, Joey.
Man, those drafts were really something. They went down so nice and easy and had a fresh flavor I never knew beer could have. And what I liked about draft beer then, I like now about Peel's Real Draft.
Peel's Real Draft, the kind of beer you first loved.
Watch the NBC Nightly News tonight with Gary Utley, and every weeknight with anchorman John Chancellor for the most comprehensive look at national and international news right here on NBC. We have a pigeon on the edge of the backstop here. They've been trying to shake loose for 2 innings. He won't leave. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Bourbon following Concepcion. Joe Haig has come to the on-deck circle. Al Michael again.
Dave Concepcion 0 for 1 plus a walk. Takes a strike. The attendance is 52,918. It is the largest crowd to see a baseball game at Riverfront, largest crowd in Cincinnati baseball history. 1-1 to Concepcion. That's the second time in a week the Reds have broken the mark. Third game of the playoffs, 52,420 on Monday. A strike, and it's 1-2. There's the pitch, and he's got the best seat in the park.
And he's determined. He won't leave it. They've been trying to shake that wire and rattle the screen, get him out of there, and he just won't move.
I guess we have 52,919. Just inside, 2-2. Haig on deck to bat for Bourbon. We'll see Carroll when the A's hit in the 8th. Full count. 3-2 on Concepcion. He was given the shortstop job in spring training. Got off to a good start this year. Then tailed off. Didn't hit at all. Late May, all of June, and then finally Sparky Anderson decided to platoon with Darrell Cheney. Base hit into left field. So the tying run is on as Concepcion picks up his first series hit.
Let's look at it. Hit very solidly by Concepcion for a base hit. Now, Al, it looks like they're calling Haig back and going to send up Eulander to pinch hit.
Sparky's reasoning, I think, is that if Concepcion had gone out, he wanted Haig, who has power, to come up to try and tie the game. Now that he's got the tying run on base, Eulander is a good bunter. So this is a bunt situation with Rose, the top of the order, due up after Eulander.
Yes, and Vida Blue and Bob Locker warming up again in the Oakland bullpen.
Blue, the left-hander, is Eulander, who was the 10th leading hitter in the American League last year. Gets set to come up. He hit .288 at Cleveland, but with the Reds, he played very little this season, hit only .159. No home runs, 6 runs batted in. Came to the Reds in the deal that sent pitcher Milt Wilcox to the Indians. Bando is in at third. Concepcion at first. Sal now calling for time. He wants to get a pair of sunglasses. New pair. Getting brighter.
Joe Rudy looks up in the sun. That's the sun field out there left. Can be a bad one if that sun suddenly breaks through.
A's leading 3-2. Nobody out. The bunt. And it's a foul ball. Oh, and 1 on Eulander. Came up twice in the playoffs as a pinch hitter. 1 for 2. Lives in McAllen, Texas, just about the southernmost city in the continental United States. Down there near the Mexican border. Ted, 32 years old. Graduate of Baylor University. Started in the Twins organization in 1961.
How about Key West? Close?
A couple of miles. There goes Concepcion, and they pitch out, and they get him. And Concepcion is furious with Mel Steiner. Campaneris coming over to take the throw, and watch it again.
Let's watch it. Mel Steiner, the second base umpire, right on the plate. Concepcion argued that he slid under the tag as the throw is a little bit inside. There you see him just brushing the left hand of Concepcion.
David got a good jump, and the throw not that good, but in the right spot to get him on the hand as he goes by. The count is 1-1. Ball 2. So 1 out, nobody on base. Eulander hitting for Bourbon, who worked 1 inning, set the A's down in order. 2-1 is over, and the count is even. 2-2.
That was a smart pitch out by Tennant.
Dick Williams read something, maybe a scouting report that picked up a sign. He thought they were going to switch and let Eulander hit, and they did.
Pitch missing, ball 3. Full count. The A's dugout. Eulander strikes out, and that's 3 strikeouts for Finger. 6 Reds have struck out today. Holtzman had 3. 2 down in the 7th. Pete Rose, the batter, and for the first time today, he comes up left-handed. Rose facing Holtzman 3 times, twice grounded to Bando, and fly to Hendrick. Long struggle for Pete this year to hit 300, which he annually does. Got off to a very poor start. Was down in the 240s in May. Finally made it to 300 in late August in New York and stayed there through all of September. Up high for a ball. On deck, Joe Morgan. Two 2-0 on Rose. Pete, the Reds team captain, born here, lives 6 or 7 miles from the ballpark. That's where he's lived all his life. Inside, 3-0 the count. Attended Western Hills High School here in Cincinnati. He was a teammate of Eddie Brinkman, the Tiger shortstop. Former major leaguers Herm Wiemeyer, Dick Drott, Art Mahaffey, and Don Zimmer Now the Padre manager also went to Western Hills. Rose walks on 4 pitches. So again, the Reds have the tying run on base. Fingers gives up his first walk. Dick Williams makes another visit to the mound, looks toward the pen as he makes his way out toward Fingers. Vida Blue and Bob Lockhart in the bullpen. Morgan coming up.
You know, Al, this Oakland club is the first team to ever go into a World Series with only 8 pitchers since the Cardinals in '44 against the Browns, and the Cardinals won that series 4-2. He wants Vida Blue. Vida Blue started the season as a holdout. He evidently is still bitter or frustrated about his position with the A's, with his statements after he helped clinch the pennant. He and Charlie Finley don't see eye to eye, but he's coming on now in a very important spot here for the Oakland A's. And we'll have another break in the action in Cincinnati, last of the 7th, with a score Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
America. Merrill Lynch is bullish on America, and we've got 29 different ways to help you share in America's growth. Stocks, real estate financing, municipal bonds, retirement security programs, corporate bonds, mutual funds, and more. 29 different ways to help you share in America's growth. Merrill Lynch is bullish on America.
Hello. I'm interrupting your TV picture with good news about color TV. Know what's in back of many TV repairs? Look, chassis tubes. Tubes get hot, weaken with age, and are a leading cause of TV repairs. So RCA takes every chassis tube out of XL100 color TVs. XL100s are 100% solid state, designed for longer life and vivid color. Give chassis tube problems the boot with XL100.
You know, it's a funny thing. I guess I would probably have been a baseball coach or something like that if I hadn't been a Major League Baseball player. It's just a successful way of making a quick living. Although it's not a long time, you still have the rewards of a pension later on, which probably is the best pension anywhere. And I feel it's very rewarding for me, not only on the field, be able to play baseball, but also financially, where you can take care of your family in a way that not a lot of people are able to.
Preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. Vida Blue was unhappy that he didn't start one of the playoff games. He's scheduled to start Game 4 of this series, and this is a bit of a surprise. He pitched 4 hard innings on Thursday. He's coming right back with 1 day's rest.
And he pitched 3 games in a row in relief in the playoffs. So he's pitching in the 4th consecutive game the A's have played. Joe Morgan has grounded out, flied out, struck out. 0 for 3. Rose at first, 2 down. Over for a strike. This is the first time Morgan has ever seen blue. Some of the Reds have in the All-Star game last year. None of them have seen him in spring training. Away from the catcher Dennis, and Rose goes to second. The tying run in scoring position. 52,918 looking on. Game 1. Rose now at second with 2 out. 1-1. Rose at second after the wild pitch. Check swing grounder foul to Alex Gramis, the third base coach. 1-2. Bob Lockhart continues to heat up in the Oakland bullpen, and he is now joined by left-hander Dave Hamilton. One and two the count. Outside. 2-2 on Morgan. Vida Blue might start game 3, might start game 4. will be in Oakland Tuesday night, Wednesday night, if necessary, Thursday night. Morgan fouls it back.
Blue coming with that fastball. They say had a great one against the Tigers Thursday.
Picked up for Blue Moon Odom in the 6th inning. 4 shutout innings. Picked up the save as the A's beat the Tigers 2-1 to win it. Blue shaking offside. Off-speed pitch. Missing. Ball 3. Full count. On deck for the Reds, Bobby Tolan. Joe Morgan walked 115 times this year. Led the league. Set a new Cincinnati club record. And the count holds 3-2. The A's got 2 in the second on a homer by Gene Tennis. The Reds came back with 1 in the second. There's Rose at second. The Reds tied the game in the 4th. Tennis hit a home run in the 5th to put Oakland out in front again. 3-2 Oakland. Blue bluffing Rose back. Rose with 2 out, walk to second on a wild pitch. 3-2 to Morgan. Ball 4. So the tying and go-ahead runs on base in the 7th. 2 down. Bobby Tolan went to high school at Fremont High in Los Angeles. Played there with Bob Watson, now with Houston. Brock Davis of the Milwaukee Brewers. Willie Crawford of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1 for 3 today. A foul off the hand of Gene Tennis. 0-1. Tolan is playing in his 4th World Series. 2 of the Cardinals, 2 of the Reds. Swung on and grounded, just fouled. Epstein. 0-2 the count. Pete Rose, the runner at second. Joe Morgan at first. Tolan hitting. On deck for the Reds, Johnny Bench. Two on, 2 out. The strike 2 pitch. Pop foul. It'll land back in the seats. Tolan hanging in. Bobby with a twice torn Achilles tendon last year did not play. This spring came to camp. Looked like he was walking on eggs for a while. Then all of a sudden, middle of March, exhibition game. Hit a ball to the alley, slid into third, and it turned it all around for him. Just missing for a ball, 1-2. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRGB Schenectady, Channel 6 Television.
1-2 on Tolan. Fouled back.
Morgan kept spoiling. Tolan's doing the same thing on some of Vida Blue's best pitches. Just a little piece of it. You have to lay off Blue's fastball when it comes in around the letters. It's really rising. He'll strike you out on that pitch if you go after it.
The 1-2 pitch. Pop foul back toward the screen. Tennis might have a play and does. And the side retires. So the Reds leave the tying and go-ahead runs on base. No runs a hit. They leave 2 at the end of 7. It remains Oakland 3, Cincinnati 2.
When it comes to penmanship, the secret's in the tip. A nylon tip won't go mushy.
Right on, brothers, right on. The
with the nylon tip Wright Brothers pen. It writes thin or thick, and it closes with a click. The 29-cent Wright Brothers pen.
It keeps on writing great, 'cause it's made by paper mates. Write on, brothers, write on, with the nylon tip Wright Brothers pen.
Wright Brothers by Paper Mates. The 29-cent pen with a nylon tip.
Gillette makes a better double edge now than the one your father used. The smoothest edge we can put on a blade, for the smoothest shave we can put on your face. The Platinum Plus blade. And someday, Gillette will make even a better blade for your son. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We made the first blade, and we're still the first blade. Gillette. Platinum Plus.
We pause now for station identification.
It's a case for Colombo when a fake kidnapping turns into a real murder tomorrow night.
What do Spectres and Hagerslacks have in common? Why, the fact that they make everybody look good, of course. Fashionable Hagerslacks, so comfortable and good-looking, you'll never wear anything else. If size is a problem, come to Spectres, where they fit any man or boy. Spectres, Metroland's fashion leader, offers you Hagerslacks, a leader in men's fashions. It's a winning combination that makes everybody look good. From Spectres, 233 Central Avenue, Albany. Open every night till 9, Saturdays till 6.
Tales of Terror, Sundays at 10:30 p.m.
Eighth inning in the first game of the 1972 World Series. There's Clay Carroll, the new Reds pitcher. New Major League record for saves this year, 37. 2.25 earned run average. And Gonzalo Marquez has come up to pinch hit for Dick Green, leading off in the eighth. It's a fly ball to shallow left. Concepcion is calling. One away.
That's the first time they've hit for the second baseman. Late in the year, the A's sometimes use 4 second basemen in a game and put a pinch hitter up for each one. And another thing about the A's, their 4 starting pitchers can all hit. Hunter's an excellent hitter. Boltzmann's pretty good. Odom can swing the bat, and so can Vida Blue, and they can all run the bases.
Blue hitting for the first time in the game. 1 out, bases empty. Chops it foul off to the right. 3 runs, 4 hits for the A's. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Reds. Carroll, the third Cincinnati pitcher. 1-1. On deck, the top of the order, leadoff man, Bert Campaneris. Blue takes low, ball 2. Tony?
Al, the best defensive infield that manager Williams can throw for his A's includes Dick Green at second base. He's now out of the ball game.
Blue takes outside, and Carroll is behind 3-1. Carroll, a power pitcher. Good fastball, good slider. Blue taking, looks at the strike. Look out. Game 2 tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Grimsley and Hunter. Blue walks. And Campaneris will come up with a man at first and 1 out. Vida Blue waiting for the warm-up jacket. Ted Kubiak is loosening up in the Oakland bullpen. He's getting ready to become the new second baseman. Rowan and Martin welcome Peter Marshall, Hugh O'Brien, Charles Nelson Riley, James Farentino, Michelle Lee, and Jack Benny on Laugh-In, Monday night at 8, 7 Central Time, right here on NBC. Campaneris signaled in the first and again in the third and then lined out in the sixth. So he's hit the ball well 3 times. Bunts. Carroll looks toward first, throws to Morgan for the out. 1-4 on the sacrifice, and down to second goes Blue.
He had a good jump on that bunt. He can run. He was easily in there.
I don't think Campaneris was bunting to sacrifice the runner over with 1 out. I think he was going to try and beat it out, but he got a pitch high and inside from Carroll, and he had to back out and couldn't get a good jump. Here it is again. See him back up inside. He should ideally be running in the direction of first base as he makes his bunt and try and push it past the pitcher so the second baseman fields it.
Campaneris gets credit for a sacrifice. He led the league in sacrifice bunts this year with 20. Joe Rudy, 0 for 3. Takes a strike. Clay Carroll was the Reds' most effective pitcher in the 1970 World Series. Worked in 4 games, total of 9 innings, no runs, and 11 strikeouts. And was the winning pitcher in the only game the Reds won from Baltimore. One and one the count. 3-2 Oakland. The difference in the game, 2 home runs by Gene Tennis. Rudy hit .305 this year. Pretty good power, 19 home runs. It's a high fly to left. Pete Rose waiting. And the side retired. Rudy gone. A's done in the 8th. No runs, no hits. Blue left at second at the end of 7 1/2. 3-2 Oakland.
Time for making a party for friends or the neighborhood. So make your party with Kentucky Fried Chicken and make it finger-licking good.
Right now it's Party Pleaser Month at your Kentucky Fried Chicken store. So for any kind of a party, big or small, have a party with the Colonel.
America loves what the Colonel cooks. Anytime, any place, it's finger-licking good.
Last year, Dodge had the only all-new pickup, still one of the greatest things going. This year, Dodge extends itself to bring you the revolutionary Club Cab, the pickup that gives you storage space inside for all the things you don't want to or can't afford to leave outside. Even comes with optional auxiliary flip seats. The new Club Cab Swept Line pickup, only at your Dodge dealer.
Now, why didn't anyone ever think of that before?
Second game of the series tomorrow, and then we move to Oakland. 3 night games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. At 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, we begin with Joe Garagiola, World Series report.
Well, this should be quite a matchup now. The fastball of Vida Blue against Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench, the last time, that's Ted Kubiak, the new second baseman. Last time Bench faced Blue was in the All-Star game at Detroit, hit a home run last year. And hit it to right field. Bench swings, high fly to right, but not deep enough. Now Lou has plenty of room. And makes the catch for the first out. So Bench gone for the first time today. He had singled, doubled, and walked his first 3 times up. Here's Perez. Tony has singled twice and struck out.
Maybe the key half inning of the game right now. Blue against these 3 right-handed batters, Bench, Perez, and Menke.
Perez, 123 homers in his last 4 years, 21 this season. A 5-1. In the bullpen, left-hander Tom Hall throwing for the Reds, and on the left is Darrell Cheney, again getting ready should Anderson hit for Concepcion. Fouled back. 1-1. Vida Blue, youngest pitcher ever to win the Cy Young Award in either league. Last year, 22 years old, American League's most valuable player. Pitched a no-hitter in 1970. Blew it by him, and it's 1-2.
He really has a live fastball. That one took off and rode in on the fists of Perez. Never know what it's going to do. It's liable to dart outside on you. Liable to sink. It takes off when it's high in the strike zone.
1-2 pitch. Count even. Dick Williams leaning over the railing in the A's dugout. His club clinched it Thursday. They worked out here yesterday. Count holding at 2-2 on Perez. Sparky Anderson, who normally sits down, now up. Maybe for a change of luck. He's very superstitious. Up high, ball 3. Full count. empty as Blue checks for tennis. And Perez fouls it away.
You see all these foul balls that Morgan, Tolan, and Perez are hitting off, Lou. You know his fastball's moving.
3-2 pitch. Drill to center, but Hendrick has room, makes the catch. So Bench a towering drive to right, and now Perez a long fly to center for the second out.
Al, did you notice how Hendrick moves for the ball? He's very graceful, sort of glides in the outfield.
Very confident, made the pennant-winning catch with one hand the other day in Detroit.
Right.
Dennis Menke. 0 for 2 plus a walk. He's driven in a run on a force play. Ball 1. Born in Iowa. Living now in Houston. Off-speed pitch in for a strike. 1-1. 2 out. Bases empty. Bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Oakland. Menke takes a strike. 1-2. On deck is Cesar Geronimo. Backs him away. Count even.
The largest crowd in the history of Cincinnati baseball, over 52,000, and you can hear up here Blues pitches pop into the mitt of Gene Tennis.
Fouled back. And it's the 4th time he's pitched in 5 days. They'll go with Hunter tomorrow. Odom or Blue on Tuesday. Menke strikes out swinging. So by the Blue.